There we go. Yay, we are live right here, right now. It is I, Allison Rozelle, also known to you as Coach Roz, and we are now new and improved. We are starting over. Yes, yes, because I don't know about you, but like when I started hitting closer and closer to the 40 mark, I started thinking about a lot of stuff when it came to my life. I started thinking about, well, what am I going to do now? What am I supposed to do now? And, like my meaning, my purpose, am I truly in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing right now? I don't know if any of you ever felt that way, but yeah, it's like now you get to this point, and I don't want to say it's like the halfway mark of life, but I guess if you kind of look at it that way and say, well, what do I want? I mean, like, what do I really, really want? Or, what have I always wanted? But I was either too afraid to go after it, or maybe I was told that I couldn't have it, or, I don't know, maybe you're like me, you were like a single mom and your focus was on your kids. And, you never really thought that you could be living the life that you've always dreamed of, because that stigma of, well, I'm a single mom, so I can't do thus and so. Well, see, now we're at that great mark of our lives. We are over 40, and many of us have kids out of the house or kids that are about to get out of the house. Some have small kids, and God bless you. But most of us have either the kids that are already out of the house, or you've got kids out of the house and one that's about to leave, or whatever the situation may be. The whole thing is now we can start over. We can start again. Yes, we can reclaim our purpose. We can reclaim our vision and dream for ourselves. Yes, yes. So today's topic, as you can see, is more dealing with self-love, because let's face it, we have to be able to, speak to that in order for you to reclaim your purpose, in order for you to start over. You got to dig a little deeper and find out why. A lot of things just didn't get done, and sometimes it has a lot to do with your lack of self-love. But it's not always that completely. But at any rate, it can have a hindrance on your progression. So what I like to do is I like to go online and take a look and see what kind of questions people are asking that they need help with. And these are also questions that I'm pretty sure many of you have these same questions. So the question for today's subject, and this is kind of the inspiration of this whole, oh, yes. So I told you all weeks before that I'm kind of not feeling the self-love sermon turn anymore. It's just not feeling in alignment with me. So then I was thinking, if I'm starting over and I'm at a point in my life where I need help in starting over, then you're sending out a SOS. So it's a starting over session or something like that. I don't know. It'll come. But, I think that that's kind of cute, the SOS. So, yeah, that's where I am right now. So anyway, this was the question. So the person asked the question, why can't I love myself anymore? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so kind of sad, where if you're not loving yourself anymore, or you feel that you aren't loving yourself anymore. So the take that I took on here is a couple of things. So My question back is it that you can't love yourself, or is it that you just don't love how things are in your life right now? Because there's a big difference. If you're saying I can't love myself, then we have to kind of pick apart and see what exactly do you mean by that? Because a lot of times it's not so much that we aren't loving ourselves. Sometimes we just don't love where we are, and we just don't know how to get unstuck from where we are. So with that in mind, there's solutions to that. But you got to do a little soul searching. You got to do the work, as Mama Iyanla says. You can't get away from the work. You got to figure this thing out. But thanks be unto God, you have me, and I will help you. So, like I said, I just posed the question back. Is it that you can't love yourself, or you just don't love how things are going in your life right now? And then I went a little further. I was like, maybe the issue is you just aren't living, you're not loving where you are right now because you're not living your authentic life. You're not being your authentic self, meaning you're living the life of someone else's dream. You're living the life that someone else put upon you and said, hey, this is the life that people that look like us is supposed to live. Or this is the life that people who grew up the way that we grew up is supposed to live. You know, it's kind of like that generational thing of, okay, so you go to elementary school, you go to junior high or middle school, then you go to high school, and when you get out of high school, you got to make a choice. You got to go to work or go to college. Nobody ever says, or they'll say the military, which I'm not discrediting anybody in the military. My father was in the Army. My brother was in the Army. My grandfather served. I have mad respect for the military. But you know what I'm saying. You have go to work, go to college, join the military. And those are the only three options that a lot of us got as kids. Now, I'm fortunate enough that my mother, at least, always talked to us, and my dad did too, from time to time. But she always talked to us about, like, you know, owning your own business. She put that kind of nugget in the atmosphere, if you will. But still, the thought is, especially when you get into high school, it starts getting drilled in more and more that your options are go to school, go to work, or go into the military. But they leave a whole other world out of the equation. Because what if you're not college material, or you just don't, you know, it took everything you had inside of you to get through high school. I mean, that's the way my son is. It took everything he had to get through high school. Going to college, I knew that was just something he just was not going to do and didn't need to do. And I'm glad he didn't, because that would have been a huge waste of money. And then you say go to work. But you don't really get the encouragement to work for yourself. Create your work. Yeah. Be creative and create your work. So going back to this post, that's why a lot of times, excuse me, people are unhappy with their lives because they're living a life that they've been told that they're supposed to live. Excuse me, I need to get a sip of water. But yes, they're living a life that they've been told that they're supposed to be living. Or like legacy, you know how everybody in the family was, I don't know, a lawyer. So, you know, mama was a lawyer, daddy was a lawyer. So that means all the kids have to be lawyers too. But that's not your dream and your passion. So that's why I'm saying sometimes, because we're not living the authentic lives, and it may have nothing to do with career, but still, we're not living the authentic lives, our authentic lives. We're living someone else's life. of what we were told we were supposed to be. Or, like I said, it may not have anything to do with career, business, or schooling. It could be you're living in an area that you were told that's where you're supposed to live. If you make this much money, you're supposed to live in this particular neighborhood or subdivision or an apartment complex or whatever. You could be unhappy with where you live. Or you know, many of us in the towns that we grew up in, some of us left our hometowns and some people still live in their hometown. Maybe you just always wanted to go and it's not for you. So that's why I'm saying you have to kind of dig deep and figure out, what is it about your life that you don't like? What is it that's turning you off right now and making you feel like it's harder for you to love yourself? So outside of the job, like I said, it could be your location. It could be maybe you're not getting spiritually fed. Yeah, maybe you need to make some changes there. Maybe, if you grew up going to a certain kind of church, maybe you need to go to another church. I don't know. Switch it up. But you have to find out what it is. Because, again, to just put a question out there and say, why can't I love myself? Well, what is it about yourself that you're not loving? Does that make sense? So we have to get to the heart of that. So again, sometimes when you're starting over, this is the kind of thing that you have to start getting to the heart of. Where am I right now? Where am I right now? How do I feel about where I am right now? And where do I want to go? Because now, at this age, at this stage of your life, you have those options. You have that ability to sit down, take stock, and ask yourself these questions. Where am I now? Where do I want to go? What do I have to do to get there? So you have to break that down. So again, it's not a matter of something is wrong with you because you can't find a way to love yourself. And again, I can't say this enough. It may not be that you just don't love yourself. You just don't love where you are right now. And so you have to make that shift. So what the other piece of the advice that I gave is something that I've talked about before. So if you don't like currently what's going on in your life, then start to break it down and find where the disconnect is. Look at it in, first category would be finance, career, and business. Where in there is the disconnect? What don't you like? You can say finance-wise, I don't like the fact that my credit is bad. I don't like that I make X amount of money per year when I really want to make such and such per year, right? I don't like that I'm working a 9-to-5 job. I want my own business. Or I don't mind the job that I have, but I would like to make a little money on the side. That's what I'm talking about. Break it down. What don't you like about it? Spirituality. Where are you? Where are you spiritually? Because I got to tell you, if your spiritual walk is off, that can affect almost every part of your life. And I won't even say almost, every part of your life. How you eat, sleep, breathe, and everything else is all spiritual. It's all spiritually connected. So if your spirituality is off, you may want to examine that and find out, why am I off? What do I need to do to get better at this? And feel a deeper connection, because you have to draw from spirit. You have to draw from God, the source. Now, I'm not into like organized religion too much anymore, but I still believe that there is God and there's an order of life, and that, we are here as co-creators of our lives, but we draw our energy, we draw our being, our everything from the source, which is God. So, thank you for the thumbs up. So yes, if your spiritual walk is off, then that can be a huge thing. And, if you are questioning why can't you love yourself, check your spirituality. See where you are spiritually. And a good thing to do to check your spirituality is get somewhere that's quiet and dark. It doesn't have to be completely dark if that weirds you out. But if you can sit somewhere and maybe just light a single candle and just sit in complete quiet and then breathe, meditate. And what that does, the silence and the darkness connects your crown chakra, which is the spiritual part. Well, all of it is spiritual, but that connects you from here to there, up, and the Holy Spirit can come, and then all of your chakra points can get in alignment. But you want to start there because that's very important when it comes to your spirituality, is connecting. So you may want to do that. Next one is health and well-being. Where are you? You know, you may feel you don't love yourself because you're not healthy right now. You're just not. You're not eating right. You're not getting the right amount of exercise. You're not getting enough sleep. That's huge. Because I know a lot of us have problems, I know I do, with getting enough sleep. Sleep is huge. And it really, really affects you. It really does. So where are you as far as health and well-being? So if you're feeling like you're not loving yourself, then show yourself some love by taking care of your health. Maybe it's you need to eat a little better, drink a little more water, get a little more sunshine. Yeah, sunshine is actually good for you. Now, don't go out there and stay and burn yourself to a crisp because your skin won't like that very much. But I'm saying get you some rays of sunlight. Sunlight has vitamin D in it, and it kind of incites your happy hormones when you feel the sun and it's on your face and you like, it's beautiful and you feel happy. That's a spiritual connection in itself, right? So yeah, that's why I said if your spirituality is off, everything is off. So health and well-being, make some checkpoints, see where you are in your health and well-being. That could be a huge thing. Like if, for instance, you're not happy with your weight. Ooh, a lot of people have that issue. They're not loving themselves because the weight they have on their bodies. And sometimes the physical weight is a manifestation of emotional weight that we have and carry. So go back to the health and well-being and then go back to the spirituality, see where you are, find the disconnect. And I bet it's somewhere in there if that's the issue for you. The next thing is social life and relationships. Do you have a social life? Do you? Because maybe you're not loving yourself because you're not connecting with anybody. You're not talking to anybody. And I know social media has got it to a point where nobody wants to sit down and have a conversation with anybody anymore. We all want to sit behind the laptop or piddle on our phones, but we don't want to sit mano a mano and talk to each other. So I get it. But sooner or later, you got to step out from behind that computer and put your phone down and sit and have conversations with people. Get yourself out there. Get your social life. You deserve to have a social life, right? Connecting with other people. I also get you may be an introvert. I am very introverted. I told y'all weeks ago about me going to the Eric B. and Rakim concert. Concerts freak me out because it's a whole lot of people. It's been that way for years for me. And that's partly why I don't go to them is because big crowds freak me out. And I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable. But that setting was a little more, there were a lot of people, but it was a little more intimate. So I was okay. But it felt good. It felt good to get out and do that and hear that old school hip hop playing and everything else. So yes, get out of the house. Get out and socialize. Meet some people. Go to stuff like meetup.com. I have a meetup that I'm going to next week and I cannot wait. Go to meetup.com and look for the interesting meetups that are in your area where you can find people who have common interests as you. Yeah. And then when you find those people that have the common interests, you never know. They might be battling with the same thing. They may be feeling lonely and and like, oh my God, I don't love myself, nobody loves me, and everything else, you make that connection, and then y'all help each other. Yeah, you've got new friends, you got new people to hang around. You may even meet you somebody. Oh yeah. So yeah, social life and relationships. Lastly, education and training. You may feel like you're not loving yourself because maybe you didn't finish getting that degree from back in the day. I've had that issue. I'm still working on my degree, and Lord help me when I finally get it. But if it feels like unfinished business, make it your business to go back to school and finish your degree. Or maybe you have like your associates and you're wanting to go get your bachelor's, or maybe you got your bachelor's and you want to go get your master's. I don't know, but kind of think about that. Or maybe it's just as far as the training is concerned, maybe you wanted to pick up some extra learnings of something that has to do with the field that you're passionate about, or something you've always wanted to learn. Why not? That could be another opportunity to get out and meet other people. Take some classes, learn something new, use your mind to do other things to get your creative juices flowing, and that can induce a lot of happiness inside of you because you're doing something that makes you happy, that gives you purpose, that gets your passion and everything activated. So that's a good thing to do. So I just basically told this person, just look at each of these parts of your life. Figure out, what do you like in those categories? What don't you like? What's working? What's not working? In other words, find the disconnect. You may find that the issue is just not that you don't love yourself. It's just situational. You just don't like where you are. And that's just it. So then if you find the disconnect, then reconnect. Take action and reconnect. Get yourself back into the swing of things. Back to life. Get back there. Get back to what makes you happy. You've taken the first step by acknowledging and asking this question. So take that same boldness, that same vigor, that same need to know, and explore those categories for yourself, and I promise you'll probably find the disconnect. And that's not just what I'm saying to that person whose question I'm answering. I'm also saying it to you. You'll find the disconnect if you go through those categories and you see what's working, what's not working, where am I, where do I want to go, and what's it going to take for me to get there. You'll find the disconnect. So that's all I got. That's all I wanted to let you know is there's nothing wrong with you. You just feel a little disconnected, and we just got to get you reconnected and get everything in line. But that's why I'm here, right? So I hope you enjoyed this message. Feel free to share it with someone that you love. It's going to end up on my YouTube channel, yes, indeedy. And that's all I got. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you coming by. I love you. Good night.